Darkling I listen, and for many a time I have been half in love with easeful death. This stanza is very painful and it is very personal. Here we find the autobiographical note. John Keats, as a victim of consumption, he was very sure to meet a cruel, painful death. Now, in this stanza, we find that he wants to meet death in soft, sweet, fragrant, melodious night with happiness, and he just wants to die with the song of Nightingale. So, Nightingale's song will be requiem, high requiem, become a sword. Nightingale's melodious song will be John Keats' death, his death song over his grave. So that was the desire of John Keats, having heard the melodious song of Nightingale. Darkling, I listen. I am listening to you, Nightingale, in darkness. Darkling, darkness. Okay. In this stanza, we find John Keats' desire for death. What kind of death? Peaceful death, happy death, not painful death. Darkling, in darkness, I listen, and for many a time I have been John Keats, have been half in love with easeful death that I always desired. Due to my illness, I always desired to get a very comfortable death, a painless death, a happy death. Called him soft names, him that is death, and this is why that I have called death by several names. I have given him here death has been personified, called him soft names. I have called him by several names, but soft names in many are mused rhyme, in many my or in several my poems. I am always in love. I have always been in love with death, and I have given death several beautiful soft names in my poems to take into the air my quiet breath. And I always desire to take my soul. Where? That is into the air, to take my soul in peace. That breath means here life. Now more than ever seems it rich to die, and at this time I always desired to have a very peaceful death. In my all other poetry or poems I have expressed my this desire also, and this time when I am listening to the sweet melodious music of Nightingale, this time seems to me most suitable for death or to die. So this time I want to die, because this time I am very happy, and the atmosphere is also very melodious. To seize upon the midnight with no pain. To seize upon the midnight, because this time, that is seize upon, I will meet death. The midnight at this time, okay, because this is the time of midnight with no pain, and I am very sure that this time my death will be very easeful, very peaceful, and there I will feel no pain, because death is always very painful, and John Keats felt that he will always have a painful death. So this time, without having any pain, he wants to die. While thou Nightingale art, are pouring forth thy soul, pouring forth, because this time you are singing with your soul abroad, that is all around you are singing. The melody of your song is just expanding all around here in such an ecstasy, and I don't think that there may be any delight, any joy on any other place, and this is the best time for death. So here we find that he is very desirous to die, because he don't find any kind of interest or attraction in this miserable world, but he wants to die in the world of Nightingale when he is feeling very happy, in such an ecstasy that is rapture, joy, a lot of delight. Still wouldst thou sing, and I have ears in vain. Still I know very well that this time you are singing when I am alive, and when I will be dead, you will keep singing. Still wouldst thou sing, and I have ears in vain. But there will be no use of your melodious song, because I will not be able to hear you, I will not be able to enjoy your song, because my ears will be cold enough to hear you or to listen to you. So there will be no use of your singing, as I will be dead. To thy high requiem become a sword, and requiem, that is death song. But your song, your melodious song will be the last song of my life, or will be death song, become a sword, and that will be my piece of soul or my grave. Okay, sword, that is here just like a grave, and I just want to lead to my grave with your melodious song, that will be the song of my death. So here we find the keen desire of John Keats for death. He desires to die in the joyful mood. As John Keats cannot see the flowers on the ground and in the trees, in the darkness he listens to the nightingale's song, and he likes the scene very much. It is dark, there is fragrance all around, and the nightingale is singing with very deep feeling. John Keats feels that it would be the best time for what he had often desired for, and what he desired for, the death. On many occasions, John Keats had loved death, and in many poems which passed through his mind, he had requested death very, very affectionately, very softly, very politely, to come to him in softness, not in pain, but in ease, and take his soul where? Take his soul into the air. So, Keats has often wished for death that would bring him complete freedom from all the miseries, all the problems or sufferings of this world. And he would consider it a very glorious end for his life when he hears the song of the nightingale in that dark and fragrant world. He feels that it would be the most glorious to die at such a moment. Okay, while thou art pouring forth thy soul. So he would just stop living at the most comfortable moment of rest, and he would feel no pain. All that he would hear would be the song of the nightingale, who is expressing the deepest feeling of her soul with great joy and spiritual uplift. In such an ecstasy, still wouldst thou sing, the nightingale would continue to sing, but the dead Keats would not be able to hear the melodious song of nightingale, and her song would be like a song for the dead song, just like a death song. Just that is called the repose of his soul, but he will have lost all his feelings, and he will not be able to hear the song of nightingale. So that was a detailed explanation of this stanza, and what he desired, that the song of nightingale will even give him solace, comfort to his soul also, even after his death. Thou wast not born for death, immortal bird. Okay, now Nightingale has been given this and another name, Dryad, and now immortal bird. In this stanza, John Keats now is making a comparison between the mortality of human beings and the immortality of the nightingale. And he presents here a hungry generation, means man is hungry here, hungry for one another's blood. So here Keats feels that the nightingale is immortal, and has always been singing like this. He tries to imagine who heard this song in the past. So he says that the nightingale will never die, it will continue to sing forever. And among mankind, hungry people from one country attack the rich countries and cruelly destroy the race of man living there. But such danger will never come to the species of the nightingale, because nightingale will always keep singing like this in happiness, in melody, and she will always be singing in the same manner. The rich and the poor, okay, clown, the rich and the poor, the king and the rustic, they have always enjoyed it even in the past also. So thou wast not born for death. It is only human beings, it is only man who has been born only to die. Because John Keats here is not happy to think that very soon he will catch his death because of his illness, and this is why that this time he is thinking of the immortality of bird, that nightingale will never die, because the song of nightingale will always be immortal, eternal. No hungry generations, the human beings, they are bloody and they are hungry for the blood of each other or one another, treat thee down, and there is a cutthroat competition, there is always a bloodshed, and they always try to crush the generation of the human beings, crush them down, destroy them completely. The voice, I hear the voice, this time I am listening to the melodious voice of nightingale. I hear this passing night was heard. This night I am able to listen the melodious song of nightingale, but I am very sure that it was heard in ancient days also. Nightingale, this time it is not only me, but you had been heard even in the olden days, in ancient days also, by both by emperor and clown. Emperor, that is the king, and clown, common rustic people or common people. So he is very sure that general common person and even the king, they had heard, they had enjoyed very well the melody of nightingale's song, as this time he is enjoying.